Looks better right there, doesn't it? Set design. Oh, man, I can't tell you how much it bothers me when my hair gets to this length, okay? It's not that the long hair doesn't look great and that I don't pull it off gracefully, but there's a certain awkward phase where I can't control it the way I want to, where gravity has more gravitas and power over where I want to mold my hair. And now it just seems to fall, again, so elegantly and beautifully, okay? I do look like the cover of a Pantene bottle, but I like having my own freedom. And I can't stand it! Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to an all-new episode of Full Circus. My name is Tristan Sartoris, and let me just address the elephant, the multiple elephants in the room. Dude, we had a critical error. Why is this so finicky? It's probably because I'm fiddling with it. In the last episode, it was supposed to be recording. We lost visuals for the first 10, 12 minutes or something like that. And that is embarrassing, especially because it started off like in the past few episodes where I'm just addressing physical things in the realm, right? And you guys are like, what the frick is he talking about? I got a black screen here. That's not fair to you. And I'm not happy with it, okay? And I had a little text thing written, and I was just kind of blaming a fake intern. But, you know, the truth is that is my fault, right? I'm the only one that works here. It's not fair for me to try and just make up people and pass blame on, because at the end of the day, it was my fault, right? I didn't make sure it was recording. I didn't hit the button, and somehow we got 10, 12 minutes in, and nobody knew, okay? We didn't address it. So I just want to take responsibility for that. Right, 84 episodes in, and just kind of say, that's on me, guys. That's on me. There's no one else here. But I am here, sir. No, you're not, Dennis. You're a figment of my imagination. You know it. You get me? Dennis, I swear, you better freaking get me. I get you. I get you. Sorry, just whatever, man. It's hard to find good employees these days because it's not always worth the money because they're not. But you don't pay me at all. And whose fault is that, Dennis? Huh? What'd the ad say? Unpaid intern, and you knew that. Yes, but it did say that there was a chance of being upgraded to a paid position. No, the ad said a chance, Dennis. A chance. Do you have any idea what a chance means? Huh? Does it mean I have to? Does it mean it's guaranteed? Huh? Does it mean for sure? No, it doesn't. You know what else works on chance? Casinos, okay? You took a chance, you gambled on it, and you lost. So don't blame me for your gambling problems, okay? You blew it. No, wake up, you're in the middle of it. Stop complaining, Four Eyes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, what? Yes, master? That's better. Hey, anyways. Guys, I do genuinely want to apologize because I don't like to have those kind of technical errors, and it's one of those things. You know what? You've ruined the whole freaking vibe of the show. We start off usually with a positive note, and you came in here and you're interrupting me. You threw me off my game. You know what? Restart. It's still too loud. But I don't know what else you want. I gave you the cool freaking hat. 84 episodes in, and now you're gonna start complaining? Hey, guys, quick little reset. I'm feeling a little bit better. We've kind of changed up the vibes, got the mood going, and what is going on, dude? What is going on, man? I've kind of already explained the little bit of draft we have and the warmth in the house, and I've already addressed the critical issues. But now, just a little boost, right? You hear that intro music and elevate in the mood. So, apologies for my interns and whatever, and you know, it is just figments of my imagination, and that's just what you got to do, right? When you start getting a big head and you start feeling good, you got to make up other people to villainize. Or maybe I don't even know how it works. Somehow, either way, if there is a good guy, there's a bad guy, and I'm both of them, okay? And that's just a way of me kind of crushing my ego. Dennis, that's what you are, right? You are he's just a figment of my imagination, and he represents the ego that is building within me. And sometimes you got to take them down a notch, okay? You got to slice them off a piece of humble pie. And looks like Dennis wants seconds, okay? Because I'm giving him more slices. And I'm just trying to really center myself. I don't know listen, none of this was really planned. It just kind of happened, and I'm just having fun here. I actually am in a really great mood. And it is my mom's birthday right now, and birthday festivities in the fall. I'm just feeling pretty good overall. It was actually just my brother's birthday a little bit ago, so there's just cake and cake and cake. Not humble pie, but just genuine, real, great tasting cake. And my brother's birthday was fun because, I mean, birthdays are fun in general. But so my mom's, when you're getting your kids your presents, and they don't always say, "Hey, here's a list of things I want this year, Mom. I want to tell you." We're not 7. We try to drop a little bit of hints or whatever it is, or I do at least, right? I'll send postcards to my parents who live with me. I'm like, how did that get in here? Did I accidentally reveal my subscription to Microphone Weekly? But anyways, yeah, so they didn't really know what to get him, right? Because he wasn't really revealing these things. And they come to me. They say, "Tristan, you know him. You know your brother. What do you think he wants?" And I'm like, okay. I do know my brother, okay? And I know exactly what Nicholas needs. There was a little fitness tool, okay? It's called the monkey foot. It's something you just attach it and you can hold weights, whatever. Very fitnessy. It's something I wanted as well, and we had talked about it, so I knew that he did want it, and we ordered it, and it wasn't going to get here in time for his birthday, so my mom gives him some papers, little clues, like a fun little game to say, "Hey, what is this?" And it's a monkey and some feet, and he can't put it together. And for something that we kind of spent a nice little penny on, immediately my parents are looking at me now, and it becomes so funny because they're like, "He said he wanted it. How is he not picking up the clues?" And I'm like, okay. Either he's just really bad at guessing, or he doesn't know what it is. And then he doesn't get it. So eventually we just say outright, "We got you the monkey foot thing, yeah." And he's like, "The what?" And I'm like, "Oh, jeez." Because I said, "Hey, this is what Nick wants. This is what he needs." He doesn't even know what we're talking about. Okay, so now it looks like. I'm like, "Hey, this is what he wants," and I obviously I said I wanted too, so it looks like I scammed them into getting a present for him that I was going to use more than him. Hey, Mom or Dad, trust me, I know what he needs. He wants more statues. Okay, I don't know why. That's what he said, and he gets that, and he's like, "I'm not going to use this. Here, you can have it." Okay, so it was so funny for me, just because they're kind of looking around. It's like, why he doesn't even know what this freaking thing is. And, I guess he had forgotten about it. He was really excited about it, but his reaction, he's like me as well. He doesn't have "Oh my gosh, a present," like some people expect you to have. But that's not how he operates. So not only was there a small reaction, but there wasn't even a recollection. He didn't know what it was. I mean, he knew after I kind of gave him a YouTube video, but it looked like I had been pulling some sort of shenanigans for his birthday, and I couldn't help but laugh. That was such a funny moment for me, and I don't know, maybe my parents still think I'm some sort of hooligan. I'm scamming them into getting gifts. Hey, Mom and Dad, by the way, if you're wondering what Carl and Joey want for their birthday, there is a Rubik's Cube tutorial. Whatever reason, I think they're super into them, and I think they would just love small things like that. But, I'll tell you about it later. So, yeah, that was great. My mom's birthday we're doing today. Happy birthday, Mom. Watch this. This is called multitasking. Because I knew that this is coming out, I don't have to write a card, okay? This is something you put on the resume. I'm taking both things, molding them. Happy birthday, Mom. I just want to say that you are the greatest mom in the world. I love you. I appreciate you with everything that you do for me. You are the greatest. And I can't even state enough how amazing you are to this family. And you know what? Sometimes we don't always show it in the best ways or remember to, but I just want to acknowledge how special you are to me and this family. We love you. Ba-doom! When he makes a show out of it, it seems disingenuous, but it's real. But anyways, we're going to do a birthday thing here in a minute, and if it sounds like I'm rushing a little bit, that's the reason, because I kind of do a podcast and do this thing, and now I have to edit a fake Dennis, or whatever I said his name is, over there, and I don't know how I'm going to do that and cut it together. So I've created a whole lot of work for myself just because I let it run, dude. And that's the beauty, man. And also, same thing goes again with the last episode. I said, I'm not going to think about things. We're not going to do a rehearsal, okay? And I didn't. I don't know what I'm going to say. And that's tricky because when you're picking topics for a show, like the birthday. I was like, well, this is what happened. Is there anything funny exactly that I can say about it? And it's hard to know if a topic's going to be funny without actually thinking about something comedic in it. So I just like, well, birthday happened. Let it fly. We'll think about something. I have other ones, dude. The next one I have right now is so cold, okay? I did not really think about this ahead of time, so it might not be great. And so it's really a pick and choose. We're looking for needles in a haystack and diamonds in the rough. And there's going to be some rough sometimes, okay? I'm going to pick some bad topics. And you're like, wow, well, picture frames are interesting. Let's talk about that. And then I'll start the topic and be like, gosh, I didn't want to even say this. And now I have to freaking grab my shovel and dig myself out of this issue because there's nothing funny about picture frames. Picture frames are a sanctimonious object and value. They hold the most precious memories and bestow them upon the wall of greatness that we look upon them fondly and say, hey, here's my boy. There's nothing funny about a picture frame, and that's why I didn't put it in the thing. Now, granted, my mind wandered, and we talked about it anyway, but you know what? That's what you're going to get here. You're going to get a raw, real, unrehearsed, what you see is what you get. But anyways, I wrote So Cold down because it has been so freezing, right? It's fall weather. I love the weather. However, when I'm inside, I don't. I dislike the freezing temperatures. It's supposed to snow this weekend. It's October. It's not even mid-October yet. Anyways, the gray skies, that beautiful crisp fall weather where you're putting jackets on. Now, I don't want to have to wear a hoodie inside, but sure enough, when I wake up in the morning, I go... And because my family loves the cold so much, I don't know what it is. I've theorized on this podcast before that because I grew up in a certain age range in Georgia from 2 to 6, 2 to 7 or something. Those were critical temperature, forming years. And granted, the sample size is just one. So the case study may not be perfect. But that's my scientific theory, that I'm better in the warm. And everyone else loves the cold. They love it. So I wake up in the morning. It could be snowing out. My dad's like, doors open. Windows, we're cranking them. And everything's open. Windows. He's got the AC on too. Some fans, ceiling fan galore. It's freezing, dude. I'll walk out into the family room and slip on ice. I'm like, what is going on? It's so cold. It's so cold. I'm stacking hoodies up every single morning. I used to be taking cold showers just to start my day with a nice kick. And now when I hop into the cold shower, I'm like, oh, that's warm. And that's not what I want, okay? Now, granted, the waking up freezing, it wakes yourself up mentally and such. But that's what I wanted a choice, okay? I wanted to have that choice when I hop in the cold shower. I'm like, here we go. I don't like going like this when I wake up, okay? It's not easy. I dislike it, okay? But, oh, man, cold showers were great. Cold showers, I don't take them anymore because I'm just already freezing. But yeah, dude, when you hop into a cold shower, there's something so sick and twisted about doing it to yourself. Every time I get in there, I'm screaming, dude, like Bugs Bunny. Ooh, I'm dying! Ooh, I'm dying! My mom's like, what's going on? I was like, it's freezing. She's like, make it warm. Make it warm. I can't. It's gonna make me feel good. And that's just because I saw a random case study of one where someone's like, hey, I feel a lot better with the ice. There's something about this cold temperature that is waking up mentally. I feel more spiritual and relaxed, and my brain power is more productive throughout the day. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense to me. And I believed it. And truth be told, I don't know if there were any positive effects, but I knew it sucked. And there is something beautiful about going. I think this is what it is that you are going through such a hard path, right? Like when you take on a strong, powerful journey where your back's against a wall quite literally because you're hiding from the water splashing down. But, you put yourself into a sticky situation and you emerge out. You're like, enlightenment, right? You see the world, different perspective. You get so close. You're like, wow, I will never take for granted the warmth that I had before. And that's how I feel now because the house is so cold. I go, wow. It is nice down here with the lights. And, if I get so warm that I'm sweating or just a little bit, I think, you know what? This is special because I know as soon as it ends, shiver. But yeah, dude, I think that's what the cold shower is all about. I think you put yourself, it has nothing to do with people theorize. Well, it centers yourself theologically and whatever you're doing, and you get into quite the zone that you can unlock the fifth cells of the brain, powers, chakras, and all sorts of things, and whatever. I don't know what they'd be saying, but that's not what happens. I think you just go, oh, it turns off. And you're like, oh, life is better outside of there. And I think that's what it is. And people are like, when you have a beautiful experience like that, when you come so close to death, that you do have a certain outlook on life. So that's what life's been like for me lately. Just a lot of cold, and you know what? I'm learning to try and appreciate what you got while you got it, and that is icy temperatures. What else was going on, dude? Oh yeah, the iOS 16 update came out pretty recently, and dude, this thing made headlines. Okay, headlines all across Twitter news. Isn't that kind of crazy, dude? A phone update was the number one thing that people wanted to talk about was a phone, not a new phone, a phone update. Okay, there's a war in Ukraine, and we're like, hey, I can customize my wallpapers like never before. This is insane, So sometimes we do focus on the wrong things, and maybe you need to take a cold shower to wake up and really put things in perspective. Now, I don't have a problem with people having enthusiasm for such an update. There's things that I get excited about that are totally random all the time, like this, dude. I've talked about this in almost every single episode, and it never fails me. I get excited about it. I have a lot of enthusiasm for life in general. I don't have a problem with the excitement. What I have a problem with that bothers me a little bit is these people that are so excited about certain aspects of iOS 16. So, Apple has implemented the feature that you can now edit your text and unsend them. Okay? Why is this a big deal? Because people need to learn to think before they speak. It's kind of that thing where you're like, whoa, you shouldn't have said that. It's like, you got to think before you talk, man. You hurt their feelings. You say some things, but now you could say something to your boss, I hate you, you're the worst, I quit, and you just unsend it. Like, well, I have alleviated this pressure. No, you need to be minding your own business, okay? You need to be watching what you say. Be careful with your words. It's removing your gate, right? Where you got to be thinking about and actually caring. And also, people were just so excited about the typos. If you're making so many typos in your text that having the ability to fix an A to a B or whatever it is, maybe you should just work on actually writing it. Or just don't be in such a rush. Just say, hey, tick, 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 tick. Oh, that was wrong. Go back. But yeah, you people, you have to learn the errors of actually saying things and saying, you know what? It happened and it's out there, right? You say something, maybe it comes off rude, or maybe you just were rude. And you were in the moment, okay? There have to be consequences and repercussions for your actions. You can't just say negative things and undo it and be like, I didn't do that, right? I can't just come in your house, break a vase, and be like, well, I'm gone. It didn't happen. I'll buy you a new vase. I'll put it right there. But it was special. The moment still happened. It was still disrespectful. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I just find it funny that that was the biggest thing ever. The biggest thing, dude, is to undo and edit a text. And I don't know, maybe that puts in perspective of what we're really excited about. And I thought it was cool too. I was playing around with it. My brother, my friends, and I, we would send something and then have them respond and be like, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you'd be like, hey, dude, are you having a good day? And they'd say, yes, absolutely. And then we'd go back and we edit the message. It's like, hey, dude, do you think you're super ugly? And then the message still says, yes, absolutely. I'm like, and so it's kind of fun, but you know what? I don't know. Maybe there's dangers in it, and that's not for me to say. I just really wanted to bring it because I said we're going to start talking about some news lately, and it broke headlines. I don't even know what it means to break it. It broke news. People talked about it a lot, and now I'm talking about it. And you know what, you kids out there, you people, you need to mind your words, okay? So I don't use the undo say. Frick! See what happened? I could go back and edit this video and take that out and make it seem like it never did, but I'm going to leave it in there. Why? Because that's the real authentic self, and we can't be straying from that. And do I actually believe anything that I'm saying? Not really. I'm just talking because I said iOS 16. I'll think about it. And the iPhone 14 is it just came out as well, dude. I was just thinking about is that phones and all the technology, like, is it really exciting that it breaks? Because it's not. You do these little things. like you have a text. And it's pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. And the iPhone wallpapers and whatever it is. I don't even know all the ins and outs of it because it's not that big of a deal. And it's kind of crazy too. Again, you can be enthusiastic about whatever you want, but it's not groundbreaking. You know, when you would get the iPhone 2 to the 3. And like, holy crap, it's so different. The MacBook. Yeah, I got a MacBook. I've never had a MacBook before. And even getting it, I'm like, this is so cool. It's so great. But I've experienced computers. I've experienced technology. And it's kind of wild that you try to break the ground on what it means to really be innovative. And I have no idea what I'm saying. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, I'm thrilled at where this is going, not because it's funny, but because I dug myself into a hole that I don't see anything funny about it. So now I'm just talking about whatever. Oh, yeah, the technology. I have no business speaking on the materialistic properties of how we value our phones and technology and where's the future going? How are we going to be doing it? I just wrote it down because I saw it. Now I'm just BSing my way to see if we find some gold. Is there any gold? Sometimes you got to swim through the mud to find some diamonds. And I don't know what is funny about iOS 16. I don't know what is funny about us overvaluing our materials and properties and be like, hey, this is the new thing we got. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I think it's quite sad. And is that funny? I don't know. But it's funny to me in my head, right? Because you guys don't always know where my brain is. It's funny to me to have to just kind of trampoline into this pit and be like, I don't know what this is, right? It's like someone just shoved me into a museum. Like, hey, can you just direct this tour for this classroom real quick? Because I got to take a bathroom break. I'm like, I don't work here. I don't know who this artist is. I can't explain the finer textures and brush strokes that they use to make this. The sculpture was made by Dennis. I don't know who that is. He's not real. But yeah, dude, it's a fun launching point to just shove yourself into the unknown and be like, hey, do something with it. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't do anything with what you're given, right? And I'll try for the most part, dude. You give me freaking a sword and an outlet, and somehow I'll make you a kite. And that's not even possible. But you give me a couple tools, pencils, and sometimes you give me something with an actual Twitter headline, and there's actually news, and I won't read it, and I'll just BS it, and it doesn't go anywhere. And you're like, did we actually just waste the last 10 minutes? Listen to it. I'm sorry, man. I have so much fun digging in it. But we should put down the shovel. Let's move on, dude. Is there anything else really to talk about? Is there anything exciting in the world outside of undoing this text? Should I undo this podcast? Redo, resend. I guess, actually, you know what? That is ironic. We did start the podcast off with back-to-back intros. So what does that say about me? I think it just shows the fact that I don't actually always believe everything I'm saying. I say things to say things because I love the sound of my own voice, and we know this, right? I have a very strong dulcet tones, right? They say, Tristan, you could read the phone book and make it a New York Times bestseller. And I say, I know. But it might not be funny. So, does it sound great? Yeah, sure. But we'll move on. But part of my brain is still, hey, I'm missing something. There's something funny about everything. And I think that's where my head's at, right? So, this is no rehearsal. We'll put ourselves in the shoes of wherever we belong, and we'll be like, hey, let me walk around for a second, right? So iOS, what is funny? Let's theorize just for a second. This is a workshop. What's funny about us getting so hooked on these new updates outside of them being so minuscule? I can't complain, again, because I find so many joy in little things. Yeah, it's there's got to be something there, and I don't want to spend the next 45 minutes trying to think about it. And maybe I should be rehearsing a little bit more. Not rehearsing, but, before I put the topic down, be like, can I do anything with this? If you gave me climate change, you said, wow, climate change is coming. Bill Gates is worried about it. He's building something to help with it. I don't know if this is true. I'm just making it up. And I'd put that down. I shouldn't. I don't know. Stay in your lane, they say. We're swerving. But you know what? Regardless of what happens here, I'm glad that we did approach it. But let's go back into something that I do know how to talk about, working with my father. Okay, now I talked about in the last episode that my dad recruits me very so often, and it's unpaid, and we have fun and mess around because we're unpaid, and that's the beauty of it. And that happened again after the podcast. He's like, hey, can you be running these things? I could go to this. And then he called me up. There's a big job he's doing. It's a big foundation where you're taking the bottom from the house and digging it all up and you're doing it. And he was looking for a mason, right? Trying to contract somebody to build the foundation because it's a sucky job. It's very heavy, and he's been looking for it for weeks because we knew we were going to do this. And now I didn't know that I was going to be doing it. But as we got close to the thing, I keep checking with him like, Dad, did you find anybody? Because what do I know? If he doesn't find anybody, I'm helping. So I'm constantly, he's like, well, you've never taken such an interest in my work. Dave, did you find a guy for that? Oh, geez, I'll chip in. I'll help. Is there anything I can do to make sure we get somebody? Because I care about your back and make sure we're going to, we got to make sure someone else does this work. And he hasn't. The people that we had, they dropped off. And looks like it may be on me, dude. So that's always great, man. I love this thing. But yeah, so what was I saying? I got to move my phone. I don't look at that. Yeah, so we're working there, and we were just digging up this whole freaking thing. And so much dirt everywhere. And dirt's, I think dirt's okay. I wouldn't say I'm a dirt enthusiast. I think I enjoy a fine mound of dirt, but there was this guy. So we're digging through this thing, and this guy comes around the corner. He doesn't live next to there. He was just driving by with his family, and he car stops, slams. Guy gets out. I'm thinking, what is this? Is he in trouble? Is he running from somebody? Did he just couldn't take the kids anymore? Like, I'll turn this car right around. You know what? Never mind. I'm done. I'm out. And so immediately he just gets out and he starts running over here. I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, hey, I saw you guys were getting a lot of this dirt out here, and what are you up to? I just gotta say that I love dirt. Like, I have a ton of it at my house, and you should see my front yard, just mounds of it. And I didn't get any more information on this guy besides that, really. I didn't really vet him for the info. I'll be like, what do you mean by that, dude? That's all I knew. He's like, dude, I love dirt. We have mounds of it. He didn't say he was doing anything with the dirt. He just said, I have tons of dirt. You should see it. Bike ramps galore, sky high. You could take a hiking trip up it. And he's like, what, are you guys doing anything with the dirt? Is there any way I could take it back home, add to my collection? And so this guy was so enthusiastic about this. Now, again, I think I like dirt as much as the next guy. Clearly not as much as this next guy. But I could have asked him for more info, but I thought it was more interesting for me to be like, this is just some strange little man, dude. And he just starts following my dad around the whole site for a little bit, and no one knew how to really get rid of him. So he's like, yeah, so what's going on? Yeah, oh, you're going to be digging up more dirt. Yes. And he told us that he was a Michigan fan as well. So just in the background, I'd be like saying things like, oh, man, did you see the Ohio State game, Nick? Yeah, they're great. I think they might be just the best of all time. Better than Michigan. So I'm just kind of having fun with this guy, but I still don't know what he was doing. But what an interesting fellow, right? Like, I love a lot of things. If I was to see a Ninja Turtle parade, I would be so amped. I don't know if I'd ever stomp on the brake and just abandon my family. He's like, I got to get back to my family soon. But, they say, I do this all the time. So he does, apparently, or at least by his own word, he admitted. He's like, they always get annoyed because I'm just always chirping up and following people about their dirt. And we never saw this guy again. We didn't give him any dirt. But I hope you're doing okay, sir. I hope you got all the dirt that you needed. But yeah, dude. So anyways, that was interesting on the site, and we've just been working a lot, just helping the father out, man. And I don't know what days I'm going to be doing. There's not a lot of scheduling that goes on in this business, right? It could be like, we're going to be doing this weekend. When this weekend? I don't know. Whenever I call you, boy, you understand that? Again, my dad's not that Southern, but my conscious version of my dad. I just talked to my dad this morning, and he was talking about fixing the stove. Now, I just heard his voice, but when I think back on the conversation, he's like, yeah, boy, I'm fixing the stove. That's how I hear him. If I think back on anything my dad recently said, I love you, son. I love you too, Dad. That's just how I hear him. That is my dad's voice. It will always forever be that in my head. I don't know why. My mom's slightly British when I think about her. I'm having a happy birthday. But anyways, those are my parents, and they're fun and they're cartoony. And I want to preface that because, you know, if I ever brought them onto the show or you saw them out in the real world, you're like, wow, he came from such a unique background. Maybe. Or maybe it's all in my head. Anyways, dude, this is so fun. I love being off the rails, dude. I love it. I can't state it enough. There's something so special about not knowing where you're going. It's like driving with your headlights off, which is not a good idea, but if I don't know what the metaphor is for that. Very dangerous, okay? This is reckless. And there's no positives to doing that, okay? I'm not endorsing that. I'm not saying that you should ever drive with your headlights off unless you're trying to escape somebody and you don't want to leave a trail, but very unique circumstances. You know, it's maybe in a video game, drive with the headlights off. It's like closing your eyes and swinging a piñata, kind of. And sometimes candy doesn't fall out. Sometimes you whiff and you hit the kid next to you. And you're like, oh, why'd he do that? And you're like, well, at least he was having fun. But yeah, dude, we've been working. And it's good. It is good. I used to get bothered by a lot of things, even just like a year and a half ago, dude. I would get bothered because I wanted to be so much like my dad and my brothers, right? They stand so, they're so like knowledgeable, right? They're so good at what they do, and they're running the heavy machinery and doing all these things. And I felt left out, again, just a little bit ago. And it's so funny to look back on things and be like, did you really grow that fast in your brain? Because now I look back on just that short time ago, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, why was I so upset? What a funny thing to be upset about. I was like, oh, I just want to know more than you. I just want to know. I want to be like you guys so I can do more work, you know. I just unplugged this, you know. Well, dude, I was complaining about not knowing so I could do more about something I don't even enjoy. Isn't that crazy? So if you're upset and you get bothered, dude, give it some time and just really dissect and, you know, take a cold shower. Think about what you're really saying, because it did. Dude, I would get bad, man. Bad. I would get down on myself like, oh, I wish I knew how to do all the things that you guys do. And look, I'm like, dude, you idiot. The more you learn, the more he's going to request your help. You don't want to be doing that, okay? You don't want to learn how to stack block. If I didn't know how to have a shovel, you think he's going to be recruiting me over there? No, dude. He'd be like, look at this idiot with the shovel. Go back home. Do your freaking voiceovers. Get out of my sight. But no, he's like, you're resourceful. You're pretty useful. Keep doing these little things. I'm like, oh, gosh dang it. So yeah, it's so funny to me to look back on just little things of myself and be like, dude, why was that so important? And I can't tell you. I don't have a good theory. I mean, I did tell you what I was thinking back then, but you know, at a certain point, you just have to grow up and say, work isn't fun. This isn't enjoyable. Who am I trying to impress? My dad? I already know he's impressed. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going with there, but yeah, man. So, guys, take a cold shower. I think I have to go to my mom's birthday and go eat some freaking cake, like, very soon. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this has all been recorded. Hope you guys have had a great time. I hope that even if you have the ability to undo and edit your text to make it seem more professional and likely, I hope that you just take the responsibility, even having that feature, to proactively say, you know what, I'm going to be a good person regardless, okay? I'm going to be doing the necessary things to be like, you know what, I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to accidentally send photos of myself at the beach when I tell my boss that I'm sick, okay? Take a cold shower, think about who you are as a person, and if you get upset because your dad doesn't let you use a rake, say, hey, you know what? I could get to go home and eat Hot Pockets. I don't know. This whole thing is just, I don't know. But again, I love it, guys. You enjoy the unknown, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the fall. I also lost this freaking thing. Whoops. I didn't know it was going to fall that easy. There was a clip for this, and it was supposed to hang on a little better, and I'm really worried about it, and I lost it. And that's on you, honestly. Because I need that signed up, and I want to start improving the background. We're getting stagnant here, and that's not good. So we're going to start trying to improve and start working on some little things and get really into the zone. But anyways, guys, I thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the show. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. We will be back next week, and have yourself a great day. Don't look at me like that. What? What?